Standard 9, Mathematics 2, Lesson 2, Parallel Lines. You might have learned about parallel lines in smaller classes. The lines in the same plane which do not intersect each other are called parallel lines. The lines in the same plane which do not intersect each other are called parallel lines. And you might have learned about the transversal. Today in our lesson we are going to learn about parallel lines, what is called transversal, angles made by a transversal, and about the corresponding angles, interior angles and alternate angles. When you learn about alternate angles, you will be having two pairs of interior alternate angles and two pairs of exterior alternate angles. Now, parallel lines. In geometry, parallel lines are lines in a plane which do not meet. That is, two lines in a plane that do not intersect or touch each other at any point are said to be parallel. For example, parallel lines in real life, we can take the example of the rails in the railway track. Now, parallel lines, the lines which are coplanar. Coplanar means lying on the same plane. The lines which are coplanar and do not intersect each other are called parallel lines. So we have in this figure the parallel lines line L and line M. Line L is parallel to line M. Now hold a stick across the horizontal parallel bars of a window as shown in the figure. How many angles are formed? Now look at figure 2.1. You can see 8 angles formed there. Do you recall the pairs of angles formed by two lines in their transversal? In this figure, line N is the transversal of line L and line M. You might have learned in 8th standard, if a line intersects given two lines in two distinct points, then that line is called the transversal of those two lines. So in this figure, line N is the transversal of lines L and M. So in this figure, line N is the transversal of line L and line M. Now, pairs of corresponding angles. We can see the four pairs of corresponding angles. Angle D and angle H are corresponding angles. Angle A and angle E are corresponding angles. Angle E and angle D and angle H, angle A and angle E, angle C and angle G, angle B and angle F. There are four pairs of corresponding angles. Now, pairs of alternate interior angles. Alternate angles lie on either side of the transversal and in between the two lines. And alternate interior angles are lying between the two lines and on either side of the transversal. So, angle C and angle E. The other pair will be angle B and angle H. Now, pairs of alternate exterior angles will be angle D and angle F, and the next pair will be angle A and angle G. Now, pairs of interior angles on the same side of the transversal, angle C and angle H, and angle B and angle E. Some important properties. When two lines intersect, the pairs of opposite angles formed are congruent. The angles in a linear pair are supplementary. The sum of the measures of the angles in a straight line will be 180 degrees. So the angles in a linear pair are supplementary. When one pair of corresponding angles is congruent, then all the remaining pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. We have four pairs of corresponding angles. So when one pair of corresponding angles is congruent, then all the remaining pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. When one pair of alternate angles is congruent, then all the remaining pairs of alternate angles are also congruent. When one pair of interior angles on one side of the transversal is supplementary, then the other pair of interior angles is also supplementary. Now, Euclid's postulate is, if sum of two interior angles formed on one side of a transversal of two lines is less than two right angles, then the lines produced in that direction intersect each other. We are applying this postulate to prove interior angle theorem. This is Euclid's fifth postulate. Now, we are applying this fifth postulate of Euclid to prove the interior angle theorem. Now, the theorem goes on like this. If two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, the interior angles on either side of the transversal are supplementary. So, see the antecedent and consequent. What is given is the antecedent and what is to be proved is the consequent. Now what is given? Two lines are parallel. So here we are taken in this figure, line L is parallel to line M and line N is the transversal. Now angle A and angle B are interior angles formed on one side and angle C and angle D are interior angles formed on the other side of the transversal. Now what we have to prove? The interior angles on either side of the transversal are supplementary. So we have to prove that angle A plus angle B, that is measure of angle A plus measure of angle B is equal to 180 degrees. And also we have to prove measure of angle D plus measure of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. Now for doing this proof, there are three possibilities which are arising. The first one, angle A plus angle B is less than 180 degrees. The second case can be angle A plus angle B is greater than 180 degrees. And the third case is angle A plus angle B is equal to 180 degrees. So let us assume that the possibility 1 is true. That is, measure of angle A plus measure of angle B is less than 180 degrees is true. We are going to prove this by indirect proof method. So we are assuming that the first statement is true. Then according to Euclid's postulate, if the line L and line M are produced, will intersect each other on the side of the transversal where angle A and angle B are formed. Because the Euclid's fifth postulate goes on like this. If sum of two interior angles formed on one side of a transversal of two lines is less than two right angles, then the lines produced in that direction intersect each other. Two right angles means 90 degrees plus 90 degrees, which is 180 degrees. So if the sum of two interior angles formed on one side of a transversal of two lines is less than 180 degrees, then the lines produced in that direction intersect each other is the fifth postulate of Euclid. But here line L and line M are parallel lines which are given. Therefore, angle A plus angle B is less than 180 degrees is impossible. Now let us suppose that measure of angle A plus measure of angle B is greater than 180 degrees true. Therefore, measure of angle A plus measure of angle B is greater than 180 degrees, but measure of angle A plus measure of angle D is equal to 180 degrees and measure of angle C plus measure of angle B is equal to 180 degrees. The angles in linear pairs. Therefore, now equate. On the right hand side we have 180 and 180. So, left hand sides are equal. So, therefore, measure of angle A plus measure of angle D plus measure of angle B plus measure of angle C. Just add those two equations. Add the left hand sides. That will be equal to 180 degrees plus 180 degrees on the right hand side. Add the right hand side also. So, it will be 360 degrees. Therefore, measure of angle C plus measure of angle D will be what? Less than 180 degrees. In that case, line L and line M produced will intersect each other on the same side of the transversal where angle C and angle D are formed. So, angle C plus angle D is less than 180 degrees is impossible. That is, angle A plus angle B is greater than 180 degrees is impossible. possibility, angle A plus angle B is equal to 180 degrees. That is true. In this proof, we have proved by indirect proof method. So, this is an example of indirect proof. Now, corresponding angles and alternate angles theorem. The first theorem is the corresponding angles theorem and the second one is the alternate angles theorem. The corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are of equal measure. Given line L is parallel to line M and line N is a transversal, we are going to prove measure of angle A is equal to measure of angle B. A and B are corresponding angles. So that is given and we have to prove them to be of equal measure. So for the proof, you will look at angle A and angle C in the figure. They are angles in a linear pair. Angle A plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. And by property of interior angles of parallel lines, we have taken B. In this question, we have to prove angle A is equal to angle B. So we have taken angle C in such a way that B and C are interior angles. Now look at the figure. You can see measure of angle B plus measure of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. This is because the property of interior angles of parallel lines. Sum of the measures of the interior angles will be 180 degrees. Now look at the right hand side. 180 degrees and 180 degrees you are having. So the right hand sides are equal. So left hand sides are also equal. So measure of angle A plus measure of angle C is equal to measure of angle B plus measure of angle C from equations 1 and 2. Therefore, measure of angle A is equal to measure of angle B. Hence, we have proved that the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are of equal measure. Coming to the next one, the alternate angles theorem. The alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are of equal measures. Given line L is parallel to line M, line N is a transversal, we have to prove measure of angle D is equal to measure of angle B. That is, we have to prove the alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. That means their measures are equal. Here we have taken the alternate angles to be D and B. So we have to prove that measure of angle D is equal to measure of angle B. So here we have angles in linear pair, angle D and angle C. So measure of angle D plus measure of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. Take it as first equation. Then apply property of interior angles of parallel lines. You have taken an measure of angle C. You have taken an angle C here for your convenience. Now look at the figure. By property of interior angles of parallel lines, we have measure of angle C plus measure of angle B is equal to 180 degrees. Now compare the left hand sides and right hand sides. Left hand sides are equal, so right hand sides are also equal. So we are getting measure of angle D plus measure of angle C is equal to measure of angle C plus measure of angle B. Bringing one measure of angle C from the left hand side to the right hand side, it becomes negative. So angle C minus angle C will get cancelled because it becomes 0. So what will be remaining? Measure of angle D on the left hand side and measure of angle B will be there in the right hand side. So measure of angle D is equal to measure of angle B. So we have proved that the alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are of equal measures. You have to learn the proof of these theorems. It is very important to learn the proof of these theorems. Only the statement will be given. You have to write given, to prove, and the proof. Finally, you have to write the statement. Hence, we prove that the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are of equal measure. Here it is not given, but for every proof you have to write the statement at last. Hence, the alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are of equal measures. Like that you have to write finally. So we have learned corresponding angles and alternate angles theorems, and in these two theorems we have applied the interior angles theorems which I have proved earlier. So keep in mind. Now for proving corresponding angles theorem and alternate angles theorem, we have used the interior angles theorem. Now coming to practice set 2.1. In this figure, line RP is parallel to line MS and line DK is their transversal. Measure of angle DHP is given to be 85 degrees. You have to find the measures of the following angles: angle RHG, angle PHG, angle HGS, and angle MGK. So you have to write of the format given, to find, and then solution. The question will be given. You have to pick up what is given and write under the heading given. Then what is to be found out, you have to write under the heading to find. So here you are given line RP is parallel to line MS and line DK is their transversal. Measure of angle DHP is equal to 85 degrees. You have to find first one measure of angle RHD, second one measure of angle PHG, third one measure of angle HGS, and fourth one measure of angle MGK. Now coming to the first one. How to find out measure of angle RHD? Now what is given? Measure of angle DHP is equal to 85 degrees is given. Now look at the figure. Look at angle DHP and look at angle RHD. Can you see? You can see that these two angles are angles in a linear pair. That means angles formed in the same straight line. So the sum of the measures of these two angles will be 180 degrees. You have to write the reason here, since angles in a linear pair. For reasoning also you get marks. Now instead of measure of angle DHP, you can put the value as 85 degrees because you are given. Now do the calculation, bring all the numbers to the right hand side. Plus becomes minus. Plus 85 degrees becomes minus 85 degrees when you change the side. So measure of angle RHD will be 180 degrees minus 85 degrees. So it will be 95 degrees. Now coming to the second one. Now look at angle PHG and angle RHD in the figure. They are vertically opposite angles. Look at these two angles in the figure. They are vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles are congruent. That means their measures are equal. So you'll get measure of angle PHG is equal to measure of angle RHD. Therefore, put the value of RHD here found out. So, RHD value you already found out as 95 degrees. You are going to substitute that here. So, measure of angle PHG will be equal to 95 degrees. Now, looking at the third one. You are given line RP is parallel to line MS and line DK is the transversal. Now look at the figure and find out the corresponding angles DHP and HGS. Look at angles DHP and angle HGS in the figure. They are corresponding angles. So measure of angle DHP will be equal to measure of angle HGS because the corresponding angles are congruent. So the measures are equal. Now you know that angle DHP is given as 85 degrees. So put the value there and find out measure of angle HGS. So measure of angle HGS will be 85 degrees. Now coming to the fourth one. You can see the pair of alternate exterior angles here. Angle DHP and angle MGK are pair of alternate exterior angles. Look at the figure and find out. They are pair of alternate exterior angles. So pair of alternate exterior angles will be congruent because these two lines are parallel. Line RP is parallel to line MS. So here angle DHP is congruent to angle MGK. When angles are congruent, their measures are equal. So measure of angle DHP is equal to measure of angle MGK. You are given the value of measure of angle DHP to be 85 degrees. So substitute over here. Instead of measure of angle DHP, we can put 85 degrees. So measure of angle MGK will be 85 degrees because measure of angle MGK is equal to measure of angle DHP. Finally, write the answer. You have to write all the four answers. Measure of angle RHD is equal to 95 degrees. We have found out. So write that. In the question you are asked to find out measure of angle RHD, measure of angle PHG, measure of angle HGS and measure of angle MGK. So when you write the answer also, you have to write of the same pattern. So write first of all measure of angle RHD is equal to 95 degrees for the answer. Then you have to write the answer of measure of angle PHG. Measure of angle PHG is equal to 95 degrees. Measure of angle HGS is equal to 85 degrees. And measure of angle MGK is equal to 85 degrees. Now once again look at this format how I have given the solution. Write given to find, then solution. Then finally you have to write the answer. And you have to give the reasoning.